Hey guys, I'm FatBuddyCat, and this is a wicked little mini bike. Today, we're going to choose our gear ratio, set up the Jackshaft, and finally test this thing out. I think I have everything we need over on the workbench. We have a 12-tooth clutch, a series of Jackshaft sprockets. I have some spacers and whatnot in there. I think we're going to use a regular number 35 chain. It's just like your economy stuff. I do have one of those bad boys from my friends at OMB Warehouse, but we'll save that once we figure out right where we want to be. Bolts for the clutch, tools, got the starter off. Let's take a look at this and go over a few things real quick. Stock, the CT100U is able to grab 20 miles per hour at 3,600 RPM with a whopping 3.7 foot-pounds of torque. That's fine for kids, but for big kids, you have another option. That's the Coleman CT200U. Instead of the clutch, it's got a Jackshaft, and at 3,600 RPM, it creates 8 foot-pounds of torque. I'm pretty sure that's a mechanical number. What we're after is that number. That is our final ratio. 6.3 to 1. 10 to 1. 3,600 RPM, getting 25 miles per hour. We might not get all that, but at 5,000 RPM, I think we can get pretty close. I ran 4 different output sprockets through a Jackshaft speed calculator. The 200U has a 19-inch tire. The CT100U that we're working with today has about a 14.5-inch. That works out to a 45.55-inch circumference. You add that into the equation, and that's how you get your speed. You also need your RPM. The reason I picked 5,000, well, we're capable of more, but we want to back out of it. We don't want to have to stay in it at all times, but we would like to see some stock numbers before we go chasing after the not so stock numbers. Say if you backed out the limiter screw, you might, 34, you might get 35 out of one of these. That's a real number. But for this one to get up there, it's going to take some time. This one, not so much. That's why we're going to concentrate on that 10 to 1. Out of those 4, the combination that got us the closest with a 10.09 is the 1221 1375. So that's a 12-tooth on the clutch. That's going to be the big 21. That's going to go clutch to 21, right? And then we'll hit the 13. Back here. And then finally, the rear sprocket. I've been through the old treasure chest about a half dozen times, and things are getting sort of close. I have the chain on, not completely, just enough to space out the 13-tooth sprocket, get it close to an alignment that is straight. Now we'll put the 12-tooth clutch on. I already have a spacer and bushing or washers, whatever, back there. That way I can start to get an idea where this chain is going to align with the 21-tooth sprocket. It looks to me that I'm probably in a good place for my clutch, and I'll have to bring that sprocket out just a little bit. We'll probably have just enough to get that split collar on there. This jack shaft is set up with a 5/8 keyed shaft, so we're going to need a spacer that has the keyway in it. This one is just out of a generic torque converter. Slide that on, and then the big 21. Last thing will be my split collar. I should have enough space. I'll throw a shim on there, and then my split collar. I'll see if I have a 5/8 washer or something a little better than that. And then we're going to see if we can cut a chain. Hopefully we can keep this thing pretty close to where it's at. It can slide back and forth on these slots. Yep, that one was a 3/4 shim. Here is a 5/8. This is going to go up against the split collar, and it's just a flat surface to retain the key that will go on the shaft and pass through our 21, the keyed washer, and finally lucky number 13. Using my favorite chain brake, I just cut off a fresh section of this number 35 Ultra Premium. I have half the master link on just to hold this in place. That'll be perfect in the front. We're a little bit loose in the rear. I didn't plan on adding a tensioner. We'll just do it mechanical style and make our adjustment from the engine plate. This, I can tighten right where it's at. You just tighten the 3 bolts that you can get to with a wrench, and then remove the chain, pull the clutch, and tighten that one, send these home, and then once you know everything fits, you just put it back together. You don't want this to be super tight anyway. To hold the clutch on, I tried a few different styles of bolts, and this is going to be the winner. A little lock washer on there, then a big washer, a small washer that's about the same size as this small spacer. That spacer and the washer are going to eat up this area between the end of the clutch and our output shaft. Those threads will go right in there. Looks like we have plenty of them too, and definitely more than stock. Even though I have a lock washer on the end, I'm still going to clean this off and throw a little blue Loctite on there. It's super easy to just use my ratchet to hold my flywheel nut while tightening the output shaft bolt on the other side. This isn't going to be torqued tighter than that nut, so you don't have to be crazy with it. You get that blue Loctite gel on there, good to go. I'm going to close the other side up, and then we'll take a look at scooting the engine forward a little bit. We just have to get down here underneath our double billet plate system and loosen up those 4 nuts. That will allow our little 99cc to move forward or backwards. That sets the tension on this chain. This one isn't going to be affected. Yeah, buddy. I just went back and tightened those nuts, holding the engine down as well. Now that we know everything's in place, we can grab onto the bars and give it a back and forth. We're just checking for that sweet butter roll. You ready for this? I know I am. Words can't even start to describe how much fun that was. But numbers, well, they sort of can. We made our goal all right. We actually hit 25 miles per hour. We were geared for 21 miles per hour at 5,000 RPM. I ran my numbers back through the Jackshaft speed calculator over at EC, and we were in the 59 to 6,000 RPM range in order to hit 25 miles an hour. Wham bam ba jam. We're going to have a lot of fun with this wicked little mini bike. In the next video, we're going to get his friend up and running. That means we have an axle swap, an oil change, and a few other things that are going to require us to learn how to use a brand new tool. Whatever it takes. Because as always, it's a work in progress. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.